It's time for a retro wrestling review.
Ah, boy, here we go.
From the main event marks for spooky season. The very first ever Halloween Havoc took place in October of 1989. Marquee names like Ric Flair, Sting, the Road Warriors, Lex Luger, the Great Muta, the Fabulous Freebirds, and the Steiner Brothers graced this card, and yet it wasn't all that exciting. This show certainly lives in a time capsule and was something very new for WCW, then known as NWA. I am Troy. For the main event marks, let's get into it.
This is the main event!
NWA Halloween Havoc 1989 took place on October 28th at the Philadelphia Civic Center with an attendance of 7,300. Despite high expectations following excellent NWA pay-per-views earlier in the year, the event fell short for many, including wrestling critic Uncle Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, who felt it was just another night of wrestling. The show kicked off with Captain Mike Rotunda versus the Z-Man in a boring match that failed to excite the crowd. But hey, Z-Man got the win, for whatever that's worth. Following that, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and the Midnight Express faced the Samoan SWAT team and Samoan Savage in a chaotic but entertaining match that felt disjointed at times. When Samoan Savage knocked Stan Lane into Jim Cornette, the Savage rolled up Lane for the win. Other matches include Tommy Wildfire Rich, did somebody say something about fired up? Versus the Cuban Assassin, which bored the audience and ended with Rich winning off a Lou Thesz press. Then, the NWA World Tag Team Championship bout between the Fabulous Freebirds and the Dynamic Dudes took place. The Freebirds dominated, with the crowd booing the Dudes throughout. They were supposed to be baby faces, by the way. The Freebirds ended up getting the win and retaining the belts. Doom made a strong impression by defeating the Steiner Brothers in a hard-hitting contest of big meaty men slapping meat, though the match was criticized for dragging on with too many rest holds. After a woman slipped a foreign object into Butch Reed's mask, he headbutted Rick Steiner with it for the pinfall win. One heavily featured match had Lex Luger defending the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship against Flying Brian. Despite some sloppy selling by Luger, the match received decent reactions from the crowd, although it didn't quite meet expectations. Luger wins the match with a pinfall after hitting a hot shot. In a backstage interview, the Road Warriors claimed to be the greatest tag team in wrestling, hard to argue, vowing to take down the Skyscrapers. Their match ended in a disqualification after Teddy Long used a key to interfere, with the Road Warriors chasing off their opponents afterwards. Next, Chris Cruz interviewed Ric Flair, Sting, and Ole Anderson, who hyped up their upcoming Thunderdome match. Flair swore to end Terry Funk, while Sting's energy excited the fans for the main event.
This is the main event!
And we're here! The Thunderdome match featured Ric Flair and Sting versus Terry Funk and the Great Muta in an electrified cage, otherwise known as the Thunderdome. The crowd despised Funk, and the match turned chaotic with unclear cage rules and flaming decorations. Not kidding. Flair and Sting won after Flair locked Funk in the figure four with interference from Muta and Bruno Sammartino neutralizing each other. Despite the confusion, the match entertained the crowd with Funk's antics standing out. Though praised for its spectacle, it reportedly didn't translate as well on TV as it did live. This was fun to go back and watch for sure, but was definitely a sign that the NWA was changing things up and trying something new. It was interesting, but most of the show fell pretty flat. Either way, this was a fun time for the NWA, soon to become WCW. Comment down below with what you thought about the event. I'd love to converse with you down in the comments section. If you'd be kind enough, please share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that little bell to stay up to date every time I post brand new content. I am Troy from the Main Event Marks, and I will see you next time.